Thanks for staying. So let me take you out of the suspense. I have with me movie producer Lancelot Oduwai Maswen and, of course, Nollywood actor Charles Inoje. You know him already. So if you watch The Johnson's Family, you should very well know this face. And I know he's made you laugh several times. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
All right, so today we're looking at the entertainment industry. Well, Nigeria is one country to reckon with worldwide when you talk about entertainment. Is it music? Is it movie? Let's talk about entertainment. Now, you are into movie production, Lancelot, and over the years you've churned out different movies. In fact, if we were to count, I'm sure even you, the producer, will lose count of movies you've produced. And Charles, you are a Nollywood actor, the business of entertainment in Nigeria. Let me begin with you, Charles. As an actor, as someone who went into it, you discovered a gift and then you went into it, and I believe it's business for you right now. How has it been so far?
Oh, well, by the way, I'm also a producer director.
Okay.
Acting just came along the way. Yeah, as an actor who is into, like you said, to the business for the business. We are not where we should be, but we certainly are not where we were yesterday. The remunerations, yeah, they are climbing, but again, whatever the actor gets is also, or the actor functions within the economic environment that every other Nigerian does. And to that extent, when inflation hits your take home, it also applies to me. So the economic climate has also played a very negative role in what the take home has been. Yeah, it may have risen, but the quality of life that rise should necessarily give me has not been what it should be because of course, the various economic factors that are militating against us as a people, judging by the economic climate in which we operate. But beyond that, I think it's fair and good.
Okay, fair and good. So Lancelot, I've heard people say a filmmaker in Nigeria is a risk taker. You've been taking this risk for several years. Why?
Well, that's my job. The Benin will say, "Ezegboma amayemo," meaning it might be very risky plunging into the deep sea, and we have seen times where people get drowned, but you still have to drink water.
Simply put, if you keep person out.
So this is my work, this is my business, this is what I do. But there's been some level of gravitation. Before, we say it's art for art's sake, but today it is art for resistance, and that's what connects with the business. Before, it was just, oh, I'm popular, people know me. But right now, the weight the popularity brings is so much. Not from the family alone, but from just going outside. The price you pay. People see you outside, oh, this is this man. The next thing, the way Nigeria has degenerated to, they are expecting you to give them gratification, even for doing nothing for you. You parking to get into eatery, the security men there, they are over greeting you, and you know that greeting is not because they love you that much, but they hope that they met this person, it should rub off on them economically. So that puts a lot of weight on your source of income, especially when you are not into any form of crime or you don't partake in any crime proceeds. So what has sustained me here is the fact that this is what I love to do, this is what I do, and posterity has placed us in a place that we must find solution going forward so that the next generation coming will not have to go through. And we have seen that growth. We have seen in present times where a Nigerian film sold over 700 million in the cinema. We have seen times where, like I'm having an opening today, by the weekend, we will say, okay, it made 10, 20 million, as the case may be. So you keep pushing to keep the business aspect of the show even more active. But you must oil strongly the creative and the artistic aspect of it so that the business aspect will be more responsive.
Okay, Charles, you're also into production. How do you translate passion? How do you translate art into business?
Okay, I think he made that point when he alluded to art for art's sake, and
Yes.
art for existence. You say, it is okay to say, yeah, I'm driven by passion, I do this for passion. In fact, what I get from it, I don't even get anything from it, I'm just in this business for passion. But at the end of the day, there is no market you take passion to, that you meet the tomato seller and say, madam, please give me tomato in exchange for passion. Or you tell your wife, babe, I know if you drop anything today because the job I want to do, I just did it for passion. So tell the tomato seller when you get to the market that your husband worked for passion and therefore you would have no money to pay. They will beat her up in the market. So it is to that extent that you must monetize your talent. When I have opportunity to speak to young people, as I do regularly, particularly about this business, I always let them know that you must monetize your passion. You must monetize your talent. Because at the end of the day, when you say you are passion driven, a time will come when passion can no longer sustain you. You are faced with the reality of life. You need to have certain things. You need to dress well to even start with. You need to live in a decent accommodation. You need to be able to be a responsible family member. Passion will not take care of all that. So you not necessarily must move to say, okay, this is business. I have to face it like a business, run it like a business, where profit and loss must be placed on the table to know that, okay, this, when we did this, we made this loss. Okay, let's make another attempt, avoid the mistakes we made when we made this, so that next time this loss must translate to profit. I think those are the indices that actually drive one when going into the business of filmmaking. And the business of filmmaking, speaking as a businessman, is not actually different from running every other business. You run this organization and you have to be able to make profit. Because if chief this month pays salary from his pocket, next month pays salary from his pocket, the other month pays salary from his pocket, the money is still there. But any money where they take from, they pull
Over
back.
time.
Sometimes you being affected by it. So he has to devise a means, which I believe he has done. That's what has sustained this great organization over the years. So when I'm doing a movie, I want to be able to get those, what are the elements that I believe would make this a worthwhile business venture? What do people want to see? So I, at every time, want to infuse those things in my movie so that when I have done my due diligence, how encourage the movie to do well out there. So when it doesn't eventually do well, let it not be said that it is traceable to my creativity or the lack of it. So at every time you want to throw your best foot forward so that when you throw the product out there, the product has been endued with all necessary parameters to succeed. If it doesn't eventually, it is not because you didn't have a good product. Once you have that mindset, I think you are ready for the business.
Okay, telling you from here, when you've done your own creative part,
Yeah.
and then it's out of your hands to make the movie succeed, what other factors could militate against the success of a movie, Lancelot?
Yeah, but there's a whole lot. First, you have your target audience. Like the work I just made with Gay. I've been emphasizing South-South and we're putting in a lot. If you target your target audience, that's number one. You put into it. What the geography of people you're looking at that will like to see this work. If it now excites others, that is a plus for you. Now, you also look at what are those nuances you are supposed to put into the work. Okay, you want to tell this story. You can just go on and tell this story like this. But at the beginning, you are dropping stuff. You are targeting people where they are what we call selling faces. When I gather this number of persons in my work, what was I hoping to do? Oh, when you go to the cinema and you see, oh, one film, how's it? Naturally, you are gravitated towards seeing that film. When you now go in, because there's an attraction. So nobody looking for, oh, the poster is beautiful, poster is not beautiful. Oh, these are Chasino James in the film. Iniedo is in the film. And you do some calculations. I say, okay, Iniedo has 12 million followers on Instagram.
Okay.
Messi Agbe has 11 million followers on Instagram. So from those two people alone, I have 23 million persons are there. All this we sit down to put. Oh, Zubi Michael, Charles has 1.something million. Nosara is out of. So when I was making Bege, for instance, I calculated that from the artist alone, I can push into over 30 million persons. And you know, so, okay, give me 10 persons, 10% of that number to see whether they'll be able to attract. If 10% of 30 million gets to watch my work, and another 10% of that 10% likes the work, they will be able to attract other people. So, unlike before, when it was just art for art's sake, you don't get to sit down to do these mathematics and these business considerations. You're going to push it a lot into publicity, because you can also produce something very good and it's hidden. I have never done a work that I've put in so much into publicity like we have done in this work. That is the way it is, because it is business for today. Business, your sustenance, the name, like you said, you're looking good, you're being able, you carry so much name. And they say, oh, look at I've said it on television. I went to visit my father and I took picture with him and I posted a picture. And someone said, look at Lanso the Master's the cutting. He just too short one aspect of the house.
And
he saw
80-something-year-old man.
Yes, 83 years old.
So how he will look
somebody
at that age? How do you
so you can imagine now it's now.
That's the father they look. How do you want him to look?
It's no longer.
So there's so much attention.
Too much attention that you must find a way to sustain that attention. You must find a way to attract more of the attention as it connects and concerns business. We rounded up a premiere yesterday. Why would I be on television this morning? I should be tired, naturally. But there is a target to meet. So every day, the noise, and it has played out here. When we were going to release the film, we said, okay, 18 cinemas. From 18 cinemas, more publicity coming in. The actors, they are pushing. There must be something about this film. Others are calling. Naturally, you are supposed, the distributor is supposed to reach out to other cinemas and say, oh, I have a new film. Oh, okay, I don't have space. I don't have. But when the noise, because there's business consideration in your own thinking, when the noise keep pushing, you see what as
Let me say
37 cinemas have signed up to take it.
I've heard so much about it. Let me go and see it.
That is just it. And once they come and they connect, oh, this is good, then you push it. So business rules our entire mentality, because this aphorism, art for art's sake. Oh, I can sing, you just sing. People clap for you and you go. But they are castle.
Too many poor.
Thank you. Nobody wants to live the way. If you were old enough here, there were some sound stars. There was a program called Hotel Jordan. Beautiful program. So all of the stars, you see them on the way. People think like naturally now. Nobody outside will see a Chassin Oje and say, Chassin Oje should not have 10,000 to just give him for doing nothing. So Chassin Oje,
at the moment you have like 500K
that
we will
share it to people.
Mm.
That's the mindset here. And it's not just here. It's a global thing. There's a certain way the society has built that, oh, this person is a star. This person is a celebrity. There's a way he must live. People are conscious of the house he's living in. People are conscious of the clothes he wears. People are, even when we enter plane, people expect that, okay, let me see where we sit.
You're not supposed to
You're not supposed to be, you must go to business class or first class. So the societal pressure is much. That means the business aspect of entertainment must be kept alive.
All right.
Okay. Do I have a...
Yes, go ahead. You can add to it.
Add to that. When you talked about target audience, you also determine, okay, we look at the space today. Who are those actors that are top rated as far as action movies are concerned?
The A-list.
Yes, you are going to mention Sam Dede. You are going to mention Zubi Michael. You say, okay, let's come to comedy. Who are those that are top notch today? You probably would mention Chassin Oje. You are very well going to mention Enosa Rex. You say drama. You are going to mention Aniniedo. So somebody took time to bring all of this together inside one movie. But can you say Gbege is an action film? You cannot. Can you say Gbege is comedy? You cannot. You cannot. Can you say it's pure drama? You cannot. But Gbege is all of this put together. So that was not an accident of creativity. It was a deliberate action.
So it's a strategy.
It's a strategy towards meeting that business need that must be met so that tomorrow he can come back again to say, I want to do something bigger than Gbege. So these steps are deliberate. They don't just happen. They are deliberate. Yeah.
Okay. Now, since 2019, when the COVID-19 pandemic came on strong, and then lots of cinemas were shut down, I know it really hit the movie industry bad. But now that the pandemic is almost over, how has it been for cinema shows and the movie industry?
In August alone, the Nigerian cinema space raked in 376 million. So why I keep talking, why I love being here now, talking business, because over here, people still take entertainment as a joke. They are not reading the numbers to it. In August alone, the Nigerian cinema space
Are we talking about August 2022?
Yes.
Okay.
August, yes.
August 2022, the Nigerian cinema space released 376 million. The data are there. 376 million. So that's no longer a sector to gloat over or to joke over. Now, the Edo State government just finished the Edo International Film Festival, where movies were received from 94 countries, with over 2,000 plus movies coming out to say, okay, we're interested in this. That was not a joke. During that festival alone, there was a huge beehive of activity within the different areas where the stuff was going on. So that's why we keep pushing for any serious government, for any serious businessman now, go study, ask questions about what is going on within the entertainment circle. Look at the Amazon Prime now wanting to overrun Netflix. Why are they doing that? When they hear that there's a film like Gbege, they come to you first. If this one is offering $100,000, this one is okay, I'll give you $200,000 as the case may be. They are not just excited because they love your face. There is business that they want to do. And once your work attracts that kind of attention, you get it. Now, from the time of the pandemic, the worst hit was to the extent that Netflix gave support to Nigerian filmmakers. It was not everybody that got it, but that was a beautiful move by them. African Magic called up. I was a beneficiary of that. That some of my work they bought before, they said, okay, they want to relicense it just to cushion that period. So the entertainers really had a lot. We suffered seriously that time. And now, there is a comeback, a resurgence now of what it used to be. I want to build on that to come up. So, narrowing it out to Edo State, I want businessmen out there, those with funds. We still do not have enough entertainment centers here. Look at the comedy shows, for instance. Those halls where they are happening, they are not designed to accommodate such high octave entertainment programs.
Okay.
Because number one is sound. They're not soundproof. So we want to be able to film such where it can go out. We need serious investment in that area of centers. I hear one is coming up now. We look at location. We look at facilities, the environment. Filming, for instance, we do not have a film village here. That will make it easier for, okay, you know what? Just go to Benin. When there's a sound, solid film village here, several other filmmakers will say, oh, the traffic in Lagos is too much. Let's just go to Benin. That is why people are still doubting today. Say, are you sure you saw Gbege in Benin? How do you manage bringing all this number of stars to Benin? But you told them, well, I tell you, okay, I'm going to be working with you for 1 week. We are able to keep that here because moving from one place to another wouldn't be much of a problem. These are all business considerations we put in. But generally, there is an improvement right now compared to what the heat we got from
COVID-19 pandemic.
People can now gather. Why were the worst in entertainment and sport? Because we need the crowd, all of the time. Like the premiere we did yesterday, a crowd. If it was during the pandemic, that wouldn't have happened. People are able to hobnob, interact, and share pictures and what have you.
Okay, talking about investments, now for every investor, they want to know how they will get their money and how soon they will get their money. Is the entertainment industry, particularly the movie industry, one that an investor could say, okay, if I put my money in short term, I would get it?
We have to be careful about short term. But to answer your question directly first, yes. But we also must be careful about short term because the business we do is not the sort that responds to short term. He will tell you that Gbege did not start this year.
Oh.
About 4 years.
Okay. From the time of
the making.
Conception.
Conception, we're talking about 8 years
of the story.
Yeah.
Put the story, okay, on paper. Get people to look at the idea because at the end of the day, this was a story that was conceived by one man. You want to hear other people's point of view about that same story. Then it is eventually scripted as a screenplay, ready. You start to pursue the funds. You're able to raise the funds. Now you want to get the artists involved. All that now for the same business, and all that spanning
through time.
The process of filming concluded, post-production, it is ready, publicity commences until today, for instance now, until today arrives. And today too, is not just the final, we have not reached the final bus stop.
Okay.
It has only just started again. The last phase of Gbege's business life, business journey has only just started today. So it will do a run in the cinema. We can't determine yet. When that run ends, it may not just end with the cinemas. There may be other interests.
Maybe, definitely.
Definitely. Other interested parties, like he mentioned Netflix just now, Amazon and all that are interested. All that now still the business journey that is still continuing. So the investors must understand the business before they go into it. And those that are going into it are not regretting, because once you begin to deal with verifiable data, numbers don't lie. Once you can put those numbers on the table to say this is where we are, this is what we have gotten, and by available data, we can project that, but if it does another 1 month, we can do these numbers. So investors must understand that the business of filmmaking is not production of bread. Buy wheat, mix some sugar, join now, put am for inside oven, bread already, carry am go market, go sell. If you don't sell and finish in 2 weeks, bread begin expire. No. The film,
the business for life
has
entertainment,
eternity.
Let me even drop this. I made Invasion 1897 10 years ago. It will interest you to know that just recently, last week,
if you
I was in the US.
Last week
Here, I was in the US to present that film. There's still demand for it.
Okay, the movie you made 10 years ago.
Yes, July. I'll still, and this journey is not because, okay, they got something, I'm jobless. So, okay, come, let's come out. No, it's been escorted with finances. So it keeps trickling in. So the business of entertainment, especially that of film, music, and all of that, can sustain. And the kind of structure we are now looking at in Nigeria, the way it is, it will interest you to know that a veteran actor like Olu Jacob, who started plying his trade in the UK, still gets royalties from the movies he did over 30, 40 years ago. Because that's the way their whole society is structured. And we are getting there now where people get back end. People get back end from the production they put in. So for them, the movie world will pay you for life, like music. That's what it is.
Okay, now to get to that level where even as an actor, you still get royalties from movies that were shot years back. Now, how would all of this come into play that the actors, the producers, the investors, all of them over time get the full benefits of the movie? Who would put that structure in place? Charles?
Yeah, there's a lot of, you see, a society that is not run by rules over time becomes rudderless, and you have people playing all manner of games. But when you have rules governing a body, governing a system, governing an industry, you can now begin to say, okay, this, you can't do this, this is what you can do, this can't happen, this is what can happen. We can't do this without government.
Okay.
Each time we talk about government helping to put structures in place, you're not asking government to come share money to filmmakers.
So what exactly would government need to do to back up the industry?
We would need a regulatory body for the industry.
Run by those who know, who should know.
Not the sort that is placed in the hands of politicians. No, practitioners. The advertising agency of Nigeria, not be politicians, they run out. Current Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, Engineering Society of Nigeria, Medical blah 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 of Nigeria.
Okay, the NMA.
Yeah, NMA and all that. So we need our own, so that we can set up those structures that would make things like that. It's actually just one of the many things that can happen. People, when this is one business that you don't earn retirement benefits from, because you actually are not working for one organization. As an actor, for instance, he calls me, I come to earn my role with him. You call me.
So it's just on contracts.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, who do I hold to say,
give me my pension?
I don't tire. I don't pay out again. Come and pay me pension. Nobody. So it is the body of work that I've been able to put together over time that should feed me when I can no longer work. So that is what is lacking at the moment. And that is where we will continue to ask government to please aid us in that regard.
Okay, I'll ask another question on the investment. You know, for a producer who's upcoming and may not be able to bring together A-list actors together that may just attract the audience, what can they do? How do you, blend your mix so that you still excel? Because these days there are lots of movie producers coming up, people wanting to go into business.
That will not be a problem. For your house now, you can for your house now you can decide to cook a dika icon.
Okay.
Now soup, you use and eat it, you will enjoy and well, you give you vitamin. Another person, because that person does not have the resources to produce the dika icon, does not mean that you don't get soup where you also feel cook, where you feel see help and go down. Do you understand? So you must be able to cut your coat according to the cloth that is available to you. Not be only to have a good movie. It goes beyond the caliber of stars that you have. That is just another aspect. Okay, let's take this higher. This same Begeso, Lancelot could have decided, say, nah, up come and see one use. The film feels still good. Only that it will not get the hype where the caliber of men and women we bring down.
But is hype not equal to money in today's
it is.
entertainment?
Let me go. Even me that made Biggie, he will always say that the antelope meat is sweet. Oh yes, very sweet. But why it is cooking?
Waiting with the chop.
That's where
Small budget
rabbit and all those things comes in. So let me not live here and say, oh, it has to be like this, always. No, that is why in the Nigerian production sector scene, you see television movies, called them telemovies. You see just about 5 persons. I made a film titled Lovebirds. Only 6 individuals acted in the film.
Beginning to the end.
From the beginning to the end. Yet, it was as captivating as any other thing. So it's your choice. If you have this, but do not, a man who deliberately goes to the bush as a hunter and sets his trap with a live goat, isn't anticipated to kill an antelope. There is a catch that he has. But gradually, some person can also bring small fish, broken fish, and put on his own whatever. And he catches an animal bigger than that fish. So there is room for everybody to grow in the business. You can just make, you have a good story, but there are elements of a good story, of a good film. Anybody sees and says, oh, this is really good. This is really good. So you can't take that away. It has to be this gargantuan before you will be applauded to say you have made a good film. And before you can be said to have made business. You can make, I also will make a reference to a film I made titled ATM. The budget was very, 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 very small. But it was a film that really resonated and brought in so much, more than some big ones that you anticipated that was going to do this. But at the end of the day, the audience, they have the final say as to how they connect with your work or the way they don't connect with your work.
Okay, yesterday at the premiere of your new movie, Biggie, I discovered that there was lots of collaboration with the media and even those in the music industry. What was the sense behind this? I know media sometimes want to come around because of content, but what was the sense in bringing these 2 key sectors into movie production, movie promotion, and all?
That cannot be overemphasized. I'm partnering with ITV. There are ways these things are done because I value what they bring on board. Right now, there's a business, there's a new business concern. There's a consortium. It's a company. It's called Nollywood Consortium that has the mandate of a lot of media houses and they are collaborating to push a film. They say, okay, the movies are not selling the much that is because a very, very important aspect of the business of filmmaking is publicity. And publicity doesn't come cheap. So you must find a creative way. Like what did I do? Oh, ITV. Oh, look at these works that I have, 26 episodes of a piece. If you are to pay me for that, this is what, okay, take it. You go into some kind of trade by barter with a lot of media houses around. You go to some of your old content or some content you can give to them to give you publicity in return. So right now, the world is merging. The world is collaborating. And to build further in business, you must find, create paths with companies that can collaborate with you. That is why you saw a whole lot of those media guys coming. This is what we are offering. You take, give us this. I'll say, open the door, let anybody come. People are coming to create their program. You see this, oh, we are celebrity TV, we are this, we are that. We all like it. There is no publicity that is bad. Well, the one you consider as bad brings something to the table at the end of the day. So for this kind of business that we are doing, we need a lot of publicity to tell the world that, okay, this is what we have done, this is what we expect to see, and you create the hype. And when they go and see, and the work meets the hype, like what we saw yesterday, then you feel, okay, you've hit target.
Perhaps put a bit more simpler would mean when the movie is made and it's ready for release, that is when another major chunk of spending begins for publicity. Yesterday, after the curtain call, Lance made a request to a lot of the art patrons that were members of the audience. I beg you, you never finish, we still do need your help in terms of support. We need money. So when we're leaving, one of the guys that went to the cinema with me, we said, well, the film is ready now. From people, they begin to sell, they begin to monitor. Why is he asking for? I said, no. The almost 20 to 30% of what the movie was made with, that spending will start now for publicity. Because no matter how good this product is, if people don't get to hear about it, you have probably just made it for yourself. So those media collaborations that you saw, it's actually so that to ventilate, to shout about this movie, talk about it as much as possible, to get to as many people. You get the way publicity works. When one kind of news, one kind of information, disturbs your consciousness, or you know what? Let's even just go and see this movie. So that next time I'm seeing the publicity, I would have told myself, at least I don't go see the film. So when like I said, publicity is not too much. There's not too much publicity.
The registration in the mind.
In fact, the more we disturb you with it, the more likely you are going to see it. And if it meets your expectation, you will tell somebody else about it.
Okay, I need to ask this because movie production, I know, is capital intensive. So
very.
after spending...
You didn't add very.
Okay, very capital intensive. So after putting all of that money into a production, let's say a producer ventures into that and the movie doesn't sell. What happens? How do you recover?
You go and lick your wound. It happens every time.
People make bread. People make bread and...
well, let me say this: entertainment, especially movies, high risk venture, high risk. You just come up with song and say, man, this is a great job. This one is going to just, and the audience just hiss past you, and that is it. There's nothing. Once it is out, there's no correction you can do again. That's just the way it is. Some just come like that, clean, sweet, and it goes. You're happy. Some, nobody accepts it from you. You lick your wood, go inside, pray about it. And that's it. If you are still interested, you continue. Again. If not, you go and there's many money for your hand, or the one that I gave to you, go and start selling bread. That helps you. Yeah, there's nothing actually you can do about it.
Okay, so how then do you convince investors? And in getting investment in Nigeria, would you say the entertainment business in Nigeria has enjoyed much of foreign partnership?
Foreign, no. But that doesn't mean that it has not enjoyed, huge partnership with private individuals, with corporate organizations, and all that. Talking about convincing investors, a lot would also come to play. Antecedent would be one of them. Capacity is another. Wait till you don't do before. Convince me that you can do this. I can do this because I did this, I did this, I did that.
So your track record is very important.
So what are the numbers? This gave so numbers, the other one gave this numbers, the other one gave these numbers. So there's the likelihood that we'll get this right. If I do this the way I want to do it, we are very likely to project for this and that numbers. So, yeah.
Okay. So on a final note, now, are you looking forward to more foreign partnership, or the concentration right now is from domestic support?
Well, to be very candid with you, very honest with you, what the foreign, like Netflix, the Amazon, what they bring to the table is quite enormous. When you talk about, you are getting some projects, even the brigade we're talking about now, when you look at it, you say, there are things that should have been done this way, that I would have done better if I had this amount of money. Like when they show after event concert yesterday, Agodai was just like cracking his joke, and he just hit a chord that if you look at the amount of money that Hollywood puts into a budget, like the sequel to Lord of the Rings,
Rings of Power.
they spent $1 billion.
If you convert that, that's a whole lot of money.
They spent $1 billion.
If you convert a non-get figure for Naira.
So if you convert $1 billion to Naira to want to attempt something like that, and that is why I will say this here, why I feel very sorry for individuals. They go to the cinema and begin to draw some form of comparison between a Nigerian-made film and a Hollywood-made film. You begin to look at them, are they well?
You don't,
what is the parameter for drawing such
budget available to the producer?
Because you are looking at our setting. Begay we spent between 40 to 60 million making it. That is not up to what a PA we earn on a major budget in Hollywood. That we paid all the so-called stars we are chatting about now. We were in different hotels, up to about 8 hotels. We shot for close to 21 days here. But if you take that vis-a-vis what is happening in other parts of the world in terms of budget and the things you can achieve, you will not know that we are still making joke here. So where people should look at what I said, these guys are making magic. That is why we actually be African magic, pure magic. Because if you compare, there is a lens, for instance, a lens, you just rent one lens. You pay like $500,000 for a lens, it's not a camera.
And how long would you have to use that?
You can, if you want to shoot for 30 days, it will be with you for 30 days. Just one.
500,000 times 30
in 30 days. One lens. That is not a camera.
And that's not the single lens you will need.
That is one.
Shoot.
It's not the only lens you are going to use. Because some guy will tell you that, oh, they came to rent this lens for a project in Port Harcourt. The director, who was a foreigner, insisted he was going to keep the lens for 21 days. And people are like, excuse me? It's just one. So we want people, we want to be able to, with the Edo International Film Festival, do organized workshop and allow people to understand the way we go about the business that we are doing. It's so capital intensive that it is pure magic we do here to be able to water it down and still get a certain level of quality in comparison to what they see in those foreign films. So there's no room at all for comparison. We are doing pure magic here, and that must be applauded.
Okay. All right, in 1 minute, Charles, what would you want to say to those who are looking like, okay, I think I can participate in the movie. I may not be able to act, but in one way, where would you want them to come in right now?
Oh, there's room for everybody. There's room for everybody in all of the aspects that they can find themselves useful. But what we usually have is the fact that everybody wants to be in front of the camera. Not be everybody.
Okay.
You cannot be everybody if you act, first of all. Not be everybody get the physiognomy that is receptive to this thing called the camera. So, but there's a place for you. If you are not useful in the wardrobe department, maybe makeup, maybe production secretary, maybe the production accountant. It's a whole very massive industry, and people just most of the time only talk about the actor, the director, maybe the producer. No, it goes way beyond that. I also assuming that this is probably my last cap.
Yes.
I will quickly use the opportunity to call on everyone to go see Gbege. If you watch and you not like him, she'll give you my number. Call me to come collect your ticket money back.
Well, I think he's trying to provide some form of assurance there. But thank you very much, Lancelot Uduaghan, an ace movie producer, for being on the show today, Business This Week. We'll be talking about entertainment business. And, of course, you know, the movie production is very, very key when you talk about the entertainment business in Nigeria. Thank you very much again, Charles Inoji, Nollywood actor, for talking about the business side. So when we watch them most times, we just watch what they give to us, the content, the movies, the comedies, and we laugh. And then we feel like, oh, Lancelot is behind the camera, you know, making things happen. They've told us how it all happens. And then I know yesterday you talked about the how it also helps the economy where you do your production.
Oh, yes.
So it's something that goes beyond the actors and the producers. That's been the show today. Thank you again for coming on the show, gentlemen. It's been a wonderful one.
Thanks for having us.
My name is Blessing Laichi. I need to ask you now to go on and enjoy your weekend. Bye.